Hey, lovely people, welcome back. Today I want to explore this idea of is positivity toxic to health? Can we be too positive? Can we be too upbeat? Is it to our detriment? For those that don't know me, I'm Dr. Sally Bell. I'm a medical doctor. I have a great love for root cause medicine, looking at what's going on in your body, personalising health, and leaning into this understanding that our body is wired for health and flourishing and what we can do to live by design. Over the last few weeks, I've been looking at how our body functions and how it reads all of the different information and signs out there, how it constantly changes and alters, all in a desire to help us flourish and to keep us healthy as long as possible. And I mentioned a couple of weeks ago about the role of our emotions in that, how we can see our emotions as signposts that often are signposting to something deeper that needs addressing, that actually our emotional intelligence can uncover great wisdom about what our body needs in order to live well and flourish and heal, even within our sort of physical health. I'm not just talking about our emotional health. And again, I've spoken before about what is, good emotional health. And I'm a firm believer that good emotional health isn't about, always feeling good. Our emotions are there, that range of different emotions are there to help bring balance, help enrich life, but also to bring wisdom for our flourishing. And so it is as important as joy is our ability to feel anger. If we see something that's very unjust and we don't feel anger, for me, that is an unhealthy sign. Or if we experience loss and can't engage with our sadness, to me, that's another sign of sort of unhealthy emotion. And all these different emotions there are there to serve and to enrich our lives and to help our bodies flourish. So my question today is a bit provocative, is positivity toxic to health? And I do think there is this toxic positivity in our life, this message that is out there that we should always be upbeat, we should always be feeling good, and that is the definition of successful life. That is normal. And I would challenge that. And I think that when we buy into that, it is toxic to our health because we miss the opportunity of our life being enriched by these more difficult emotions. And often these difficult emotions are just doorways and bridges to, breakthrough or new wisdom or new understanding or new ideas or just enriching our sense and experience of love itself. So it's really important that we allow room, for these more negative emotions and see them as healthy and invite them into our life and to not be afraid to sit with them and, always remember your emotions are temporary, don't have to be scared of them, but really asking what they are teaching us. And so when we just have this idea that we always need to be positive, we miss out on all of that wisdom. We miss out on all of that feedback that our body is trying to teach us and show us and lead us and guide us in. And so it can be very, very toxic when we focus on just being positive. So is it wrong that we should be looking for the positive in life and manipulating our emotions? And I would say no. I think we have a responsibility about what we pay attention to. We know that, whatever we pay attention to will have an emotional response, and in that in turn will have an impact on our physical, mental and emotional health. And so it does start to this idea of what we pay attention to, and according to what we pay attention to can change our emotional experience of life. And so I think there is a place, for practices that promote positivity, that change the way that we see life, as long as we leave room for all of these emotions. Certainly for me, I often think that I'm a bit like Eeyore in Winnie the Pooh's book. If you don't know it in the story, Eeyore often is feeling very sorry for himself and lost in his own little world. And I can really relate to Eeyore. You know, I look at Tig as another a character, and he's bouncing around all the time and full of energy. And to me, that's just a mystery. And yet in my 30s, I really struggled with postnatal depression. I was very poorly. I didn't recognize how poorly I was at the time. And it clouded how I saw everything, myself, my circumstances. It was so dark at times. You know, I'm not ashamed to admit that I despaired of my life at times, convinced myself my children would be better off without me. They were dark times. And I had got stuck, even as I start to get better, of seeing the world through a darkened lens. And I remember somebody putting a book in my hands. I can't remember what it was called. I think something called 1,000 Blessings or something like that. And it was this lady this author who had, just made this decision that she would start writing down these lists and lists of what she was grateful for. And I remember at the time, I think I might have thrown the book out the window. I felt so angry with it. Because life was tough and I had every reason. We'd moved country, birth of my children had been really difficult. And there was lots going on. And so it just irritated me. At the time, it just felt trite. And, I felt it almost a betrayal of, how I was feeling to be, just to start looking and being grateful. And there's something about it that there's something about that book that it stuck in my mind. And I got to the point where I just had tried so many other things. It was like, well, I don't really care. I'll try that too. And I started making these lists of what I was grateful for. The smallest thing, the smell of my coffee, the fact that I could breathe, the warm water in my shower, just building this picture. And I used to write these lists. And I believe that as part of many things that were going on in my life and things that I was changing to get better and getting the help I needed, I know it fundamentally did something in me, because it wasn't long before I stopped writing lists, but I didn't stop noticing. And I started to see my life differently, seeing it through this lens of being grateful. And as I did that, the emotions that followed were gratitude and moments of joy. And it wasn't just one moment of, wow, I'm better and I haven't got depression anymore. It was years of getting better, but it's never left me. This practice of, although I think innately I'm more of an Eeyore, by practice and by doing this, I've been able to have that more balanced view. And so I think, these practices that encourage positivity are important to help us bring a balanced view. And the other thing that I've always felt very found helpful, and I did a video on this called The Examine, and it's having a regular practice where I review my day, my week, my month, my year, whatever it is. And I look for the things to be grateful for, and I hold, the things that are difficult, and I acknowledge them. And I hold those, the reality, the gritty reality that life is harsh and hard at times, with the fact that there is beauty and things to be grateful for. And I try to hold those so that I can enjoy the fullness of their wisdom and allow my emotions to work for me. And I think that's important, developing, holding both of those things and not just being super positive, because if we just focus on all the negative and the struggle and how difficult life is, we are in danger of being overwhelmed and losing sight and despairing of life itself. While, if we just ignore everything that's difficult and we're super, super positive, then we are in danger of just becoming arrogant, irritating, I was going to swear, but I won't, individuals who are just blind to the need of other people and our own emotional need. And so we need the both. And it might be that you're not like me and Eeyore, and you need to hold those more negative emotions, and you need to pay attention to them and not be afraid of them and run away from them, and work out what they're teaching you. Or you might be like me, and I easily see all this, and you need to cultivate a practice that helps you see the beauty again and find gratitude in your life, and bring some balance to how hard life can be, at times. So I hope that's helpful, a helpful thought. Maybe you want to have a go at a gratitude practice. Let me know how you get on. Write those lists. Remember the smallest thing, that is around us that we can be grateful for. Mine always starts with the smell of freshly ground coffee. It's the first thing I do when I get up in the morning. Well, actually, that isn't true. I do this before I even get out of bed. As I get out, I always go, "Oh, morning," to myself and the world, and try to kind of get out of bed looking for the goodness of the day. But anyway, that's me going on. So yes, may you have a good week. May this be helpful in your pursuit of health and feeling good. Subscribe to my channel if you think it's helpful to you. Please unsubscribe if you don't, and share it with people who you think might need to hear this. I love your feedback. You can get hold of me through my website, or you can email me. Love to hear how you're doing. Have a great week, and I will see you again soon. So bye.